Hi, and welcome to Underground Video Network. Mike here, along with Richard. I drag him from behind the camera again. How's it going?
Good, good.
Get right on it. I think the big news going around the comic book community right now is the announcement of the reboot of the Spider-Man movie franchise.
Right. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, the news was that Sam Raimi, along with the cast, including Tobey Maguire, pretty much said enough is enough, you know, when we're walking away.
Right.
You know.
Well, there was a little background there, you know.
Yeah. I gotta say, we know a little bit more of the story. I was impressed with Sam Raimi's decision, because the big move was because Sam Raimi was in a conflict with the studio. Basically, he wanted this villain in this story.
But
and
Marvel Sony wanted something else.
Yeah. And pretty much he learned his lesson from Spider-Man 3 where, you know, this was my original vision. He flat out even says, if you watch the Spider-Man 3 commentary, this is what I wanted. They pretty much crammed Venom and that down my throat.
And then they kind of seemed like he even had to squeeze it all together. It should have been a longer movie.
It should have been 2 movies.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Sandman should have been 1 movie, and Venom...
Because I know when I first watched it, it was just like, it was just contrived, you know, just squeezed together.
It was almost like one of those made-for-TV movies where they take 2 movies and they need to get it in within 2 hours, so it's like they just kind of, you know, crammed it in. So, I mean, Raimi's big reason for, you know, leaving the series was, I'll give him credit, artistic differences. You know, it wasn't a money thing. It's like, the studio didn't want to, you know, pay me this, so I walked. It was, he wanted to say true.
His movie.
He wanted his movie, the studio said no, so he walked. But, I mean, for as much as I love the Sam Raimi movies, the first 2 more than the 3rd movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really interested in the direction that Marvel's decided to take with the new reboot of the movie.
And they brought in a director already.
They brought in a director, Mark Webb, which
500 Days of Summer. He was just out this last summer.
Yeah, he did music videos before.
Yeah, Green Day. He was
a big Green Day music video
stuff.
director. Which, I mean, if you want somebody to direct a movie that's more youth oriented.
But I have a feeling that with his background there, the Mary Jane, Peter Parker, it might work. I mean, it worked in the first 2. The 3rd one. Yeah.
The other news too is with the reboot, they're actually planning on marketing the movie more towards the Ultimate Spider-Man audience. Which, if anybody's not reading comic books right now, you know, Ultimate Spider-Man is a really good book to pick up.
It was a good starting point.
It's a good starting point. You can find the graphic novels anywhere. It was a really good reboot because it was more youth oriented. You know, it
skewed younger.
Yeah, I'll put it to you this way: the book's been in circulation for at least 5, 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
And he's still in high school.
Right.
You know, they haven't had him graduate and try to move out on his own. The story's still all about Peter Parker being an adolescent and growing up being Spider-Man.
Right.
And all the things that come with being a teenager with, you know, great powers and great responsibilities, which I really, you know, just the last couple issues, it was him working at like a hot dog stand, you know, trying to balance that life out. And it's a really good story, and I like the idea that they're gearing the movie more towards that, you know.
And I even liked the animated series that was just out.
Yeah, the animated series.
Where he was younger and it had the ultimate feel to it and stuff. So
yeah, it had that more like CG in the background kind of feel to it. But yeah, I like the story. We got the chance to get some responses from some fans who watched the show, all 4 of you. We've heard mixed. I think a lot of people are looking forward to it because I really think 3 left a bad taste in people's mouths.
Oh, definitely.
It really swayed the people who weren't comic book fans, you know, just your average everyday movie watcher. Even they were kind of like, eh. But the diehard comic book fans were done, you know.
It's over.
Yeah. We've heard a lot of mixed, you know, it's time for a reboot. You know, it worked for Hulk.
Right.
You know, it worked for the Batman movies.
The Batman definitely worked.
And I think now's the time to strike with the reboot. You know, don't hold off while the popularity's still there. It'll still grab the attention of comic book fans and non-comic book fans alike because it's still in the lexicon. It's still, you know, popular right now.
Who Spider-Man is.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned earlier how we would like to not see the first new movie be
like his origin. What I envisioned it would be really cool is he's fighting Rhino. The fight had already gone on for 10 minutes or so. They're tearing through New York, and he finally defeats him. and then you go right into the story with the credits. I mean, the
Yeah.
beginning opening. That's just my vision.
I think enough people know from, you know, the past three movies, we know his history. You know, we know his origin. Well, like Superman Returns, which granted didn't garner great reviews. I love Superman Returns, but they didn't feel the need to jump into an origin story.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to pick off, you know, where, you know, the story left behind with the Superman movies from years ago. Granted, we still got nice little flashbacks of, you know, Clark growing up.
True.
Finding and discovering his powers, which I think would be the way.
It'd be neat. Yeah, just like you start out like maybe on that school, you know, they flash back to the school trip, have a reason he was remembering Mary Jane or something.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of them things. It could all work together and just have these little flashbacks of him getting his powers, maybe even the wrestling sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would work.
It would work. Like I said, we got, you know, quite a few responses, and some of them weren't exactly, you know, safe to repeat on air. But even the mixed reviews, they pretty much, the one common theme, it seemed from the ones I got was, as long as there's no jazz hands. As long as there's no jazz hands, and they want more action.
Yeah, definitely more action. I know Gage said he wants more action. So.
Yeah, more action, less of this inner turmoil, which...
It has to be a little bit.
Yeah, it has, because it's it's inner turmoil what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. It's what makes Peter Parker Peter Parker.
Because he has these powers, but yet...
He's still got to get to class.
Yeah.
You know, and he's still got to deal with, you know, Flash Thompson, you know, throwing spitwads at him over the, the locker room.
And he can't beat him up.
And he can't beat him up. You know, he's got to keep all that in. But yeah, I think it's time for the reboot, especially after the last movie. And I think the target audience has kind of changed more.
And don't make it dark.
Don't make it dark.
Don't make it dark.
No.
But don't make it campy either.
Yeah.
It has to be a clean line between the two.
Yeah, I think another reason for them doing the reboot and gearing it more towards like the Ultimate Spider-Man teenage audiences, current movie trends are pointing more towards the teenage angst, Twilight. But I mean, it's good. Harry Potter, you know, even those are starting to get dark now.
Oh yeah, well they're growing old. So
they're growing old. Yeah, well he's like 30 now. You know, he's like next movie he's
Middle age.
headmaster. But no, which is fine for me as long as you keep true to the story. I have no problem with you wanting to hit a target audience that's going to bring you money. That's fine.
Right.
You know, everybody does everything to make money. That's fine. You know, artistic differences aside, that's fine because the more they make, the more we're going to see these movies down the road. Business-wise, I'm fine with that as long as they stay true to the story.
Right, and the special effects have to be good. It has to be as good as the first one. The first one was just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully, maybe 3D.
That, you know what, that has a lot of potential.
Because that's where it's at now. Look at Avatar.
Avatar is a great example.
#1 movie in the world.
Yep. Yeah, I think... even if it's just a phase right now,
I don't think it's a phase. It's the way everything's going.
Yeah, but even if it is, I mean, it's time to capitalize on it. And I would like to. That would be. I would agree with you. I would love to see a Spider-Man in 3D. Because actually, I heard they're thinking about rehashing the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, going back and making them 3D.
Yeah,
you can make anything 3D now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Clash of the Titans is supposed to be 3D.
Yeah.
And that
yeah,
was
it's not just a movie that every once in a while something gets thrown at you. You know, that's a cop-out cheap.
Yeah.
Because Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. That was a decent movie, but it was just like a decent movie that had...
a little too much.
Oh yeah, by the way, 3D. You know, but no, you're right. That would be... The technology's there. You know...
I mean, anything can be done now digitally. I mean...
Yeah.
Avatar proved that, so...
Yeah. But no, I think... yeah, I'm...
We have to be wrapping this up.
Yeah, I think I'm for the rehash of the reboot of the Spider-Man movies. I think the target audience is there, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to dodging all the rumors and hearsay on the internet. I almost just want to shut off like Internet Movie Database from my bookmarks because I don't want to hear, you know, there's too much. That was the third thing about Avatar was they purposely let just enough out to whet your appetite, but not really. This is the whole movie.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah. So, all right. Until next time, Oh, you can always catch us here. We want to thank Mark again at Alter Ego.
Alter Ego's letting us film.
Yeah, thank Alter Ego for letting us film, because I sure as heck can't afford this kind of set. So if you get a chance to and you're in Lima, Ohio, check them out, downtown Lima, Ohio at alterego.com. So, all right, thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.